Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. As y'all see, the thumbnail said, "What's good for AB?" Gonna get into that, but I just saw an episode of Black Fight Fans show, Trail Boxing, and I gotta speak on it. That was an excellent interview, by the way, one of the best that I've seen. So, first, let's turn to. Welcome back. Welcome back to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. First thing we do every time we come in here, we do a water check. Water check. This is the 10th bottle. So when I'm done, that's 10. That's only 80 ounces. But you know, I give it a concerted effort. I don't feel like drinking no more water. I ain't going to lie to you today. But will I lie to you? No, I will not. But I'm going to try to drink some more after this. I just don't feel like it. Sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do. To all of y'all who are newcomers, I always do a water check in the beginning because water is integral. It's needed for survival, just like the sunlight and everything else. So for some of y'all who don't know, some of us are going on a journey. They're going on this journey with me. I call it a journey instead of a diet. We shoot for 100 ounces of water a day. Technically, the average person, especially an adult, can drink a gallon of water. I'm not talking about a 10-year-old kid, but like the average person who's like, I don't know, at least 15 or something up there, you could drink about a gallon of water a day. But I would just say if you're an adult, meaning 21 and up, shoot for a gallon. But, for here, we're practical. So we just say 100 ounces of water. The theory is you should drink half your body weight in ounces of water. But I'm telling you, you will see a major difference just by drinking 100 ounces of water a day. We also don't do no dairy. I'm not against the dairy, folks. Please don't come after me. You can make all the cakes, pastries, and all that. We love them shits. We love them. But it don't love us. So we be on the journey of trying to find the health in you. All of this is on my Sunday show. I welcome you all to come in and tune in on my Sunday show. We get more in depth about finding the health in you. But there's no dairy, 100 ounces of water. We only eat not fish, but crab legs or shrimps. I threw that in. But chicken or turkey and tuna fish. Now some of y'all might say, can I at least eat a fish? Okay, whatever. I mean, do what you can, but just get off the meat. Don't no beef people come after me. We love y'all. And in moderation, and I mean slim moderations, like as a treat every couple of months. Cool. And it's enough people in the world that y'all not gonna lose no business. But it don't love us, especially black folks. It just don't. It don't love us. So you gotta make a choice. Or the choice gonna be made for you. Eric Gomez is in the building. What's popping, King? He comes in all the time with the bomb squad. Now, let me address something from yesterday. I was out and about. I always tell you I will be here every day unless I'm sick or whatever, but I was out and about, and I do a lot of reading and stuff before I come on and do a show or do a lot of prep work, and I didn't get a chance to do it adequately, so I was like, I'm not going to fake it or whatever, so I took a night off. Sorry for that. I know some of y'all was looking for me or whatever. But even though I said what's good for AB, I did want to jump into Trail Boxing Show with Black Fight Fan CC and 78 did an excellent job. I love when these boxing channels do great interviews. I hope that one day that I can get some great interviews too. They did an excellent job with Mickey Bay. Mickey Bay really, he really carried the interview. He let a lot of stuff out the bag. And to you casual fans, because I always say I cater my show to the casuals and up. A lot of us in here, we know boxing. We know the behind the scenes, but what about the people who want to know, but they don't feel confident enough to speak on it? Like, you will never see me get into a cipher and talk about football. I know football. I used to play football when I was young. I don't know football. The real deal is I don't know it now. I don't know the new rules. I forgot half this shit. And they added new teams since I was young. I know y'all like, where you been? I pretty much fell off football before I became an adult. So, but a lot of people like football, but you'll never see me try to carry a conversation about football. I'm all ears and I'm soaking it in. Why? Because I don't know much about it. You know what I'm saying? But my sport is boxing. So to the people who are casuals who don't know much about boxing, this is why a lot of times be apprehensive about engaging in boxing talking. Don't do that. Don't do that. I always say if you watch my show for at least a month, you're gonna learn something. You're gonna pick it up. It's just gonna be picked up that easy. You'll be surprised. So shout outs to Trail Boxing for that excellent interview. And he also said that you can he don't mind if people share his interview because that's some worthwhile information that needs to be disseminated across the board, across the country. For you casuals, when you will hear me at times say as boxing turns, and I'm doing a play on words because there used to be a soap opera called As the World Turns. And As the World Turns was my joint, like CBS all the way, period. But the soap opera, you get the gist what a soap opera is. Boxing in itself is a soap opera. So a lot of times you hear me say as boxing turns. And when you understand and you up on the soap opera, then you know all the players, the key players. You can almost predict what's going to happen, this, that, and the other. It makes your enjoyment of the fight or lack thereof even better. It also helps you make decisions on whether or not you should buy said fight or not. The problem is that you will fall in love with boxing before they break your heart. And boxing as a sport will break your heart because the best is not fighting the best. There's a lot of tomfoolery going on. People are getting used. It's a dangerous ass sport. It's probably one of the most dangerous sports out there. And you can see the end results of people. A lot of times these people make millions and millions of dollars and then they wind up about my age and they broke or they don't got nothing. You hear this about sport people, and all different types of sports, especially basketball. I remember watching like 30 for 30 and seeing like documentaries, if you will, on certain basketball players that had $100 million contracts, and then they barely got 30,000. This is sad, people. This is sad. And, you know, based on your behavior in life, that could be you. Because I'm a believer in God. I'm a Christian. You can believe who you want to believe. But I believe just as fast as they give it, they could take it away. Nobody is beyond being brought down a peg or two. I don't care how rich and powerful you are. You know, you can look at politics when they was like the banks was too big to fail. Bullshit. Anything that rise to the top can sink too. Real easy. You just never know. Now, a person like Floyd, I'm not praying for his downfall. But just as quick and easy as he made it, he can lose it all with that behavior that he has. Because in the religion I believe in, jealousy and envy has no place. Now, I took a lot of nuggets from this interview, and I'm going to point out some of them. But if you want to see this interview, you should go look at Trail Boxing. All you got to do is YouTube it like that, like put in the search engine, Trail Boxing. It was an interview, I believe it was today's interview, but it could have been yesterday because I'm always like a day late looking at other shows because I do my show. But you can go back and watch the show. And like I said, he gave permission to share it, so I'm speaking on it. But I think it would do a disservice to show clips because I look at it for the context of it all. You know, you got to hear how he led into whatever nuggets he dropping. You got to hear that whole spiel. And he had the time to speak his piece. There was no sound bites, you know, and all that stuff. Spin shit, you know, he was able to break down what he wanted to break down. And all I can say is, dude, I'm talking to Mickey Day. I have already put aside some money because I live on a fixed income. Put aside some money for the book. I don't care how much. If this book costs $100, I'm buying it. You know what I'm saying? It's worthwhile information. As much as these young fighters study tapes and watch their favorite fighters and be in the gym making it happen and all that, what this man got to say, you should study these type of stories too. I would tell any young fighter to learn finance. You know, a lot of stuff you learn in school you don't take with you on your everyday life, but you will find that it is necessary. I can never say a subject in school isn't necessary, but some things you're going to use a lot and some things you're going to barely use, but they all are necessary. But one is math. And math in particular when it comes to finance, percentages especially, you know, algebra, trigonometry, geometry is, I think 10th grade math or something. What's the other ones? Calculus, all that. You can say, when am I going to use those things? But guess what? You do use them and you don't even know you're using them. But percentages, that part of the math, which you use in science class as well. Oh my God, you better learn that shit. You better learn it so good that you can do it in your head. You know, for years as a young adult, I couldn't. And then one day I said, girl, what is wrong with you? Buckle down and learn how to count some things in your head, to kind of visualize in your head some math equations or whatever. Be able to do at least that. Because you're going to find that you'll use that concept all through your life. No matter what you decide to get into in life, you're going to need to know how to, you know, count math really quick in your head at one point in time. So let's get to what was said. Man, that was a good interview. Excuse me, I always do that. Get caught up in this damn wire. He talked about his upbringing. He talked about Floyd's upbringing, how hard Floyd Sr. was on him. And you have seen that in some of the all access, whatever, from Mayweather in previous fights he was about to go into, especially when him and his dad got into it. And they, you know, they made up, and that's a good thing. But it explains his character. His dad was real hard on him. sometimes one parent only know one thing, or they can only impart to you what they really know and what they believe. But then it's for the other parent to balance that out. That's why God gives you two parents, right? But in Floyd's case, he just really had Floyd Sr. And so it really wasn't no balancing out. He himself talked about his mom's addiction. So I don't think she was probably really there to balance out all that strictness that Floyd Sr. had to give him. PGH Big Dog is in the building. What's popping, King? Talking about that excellent interview that Trail Boxing did with Mickey Bay. Either it was today or I'm late to it or whatever. But that was a lot of nuggets. So I'm going to just briefly talk about the nuggets that I saw. PGA said, AB a damn journeyman at this point. He messed up his career. He did. I'm going to get into that too, player. But just real quick, just on that interview, because I'm not going to play no clips, but it was an excellent interview. So Floyd dad had a competitive relationship with him. Real bad. I mean, I heard that in one of them little, like I said, All Access. They was like, oh, poor Floyd, he could never get a break. His cousins were saying that. So that led to his character. Now, what Floyd Sr. created was somebody great for the ring, as Mickey Bay explained, but that same attitude carried out of the ring into real life, and that wasn't good for real life. So that explains Floyd's character. I'm beginning to think a narcissist can be built, because that's kind of what Floyd is. The conceitness, the arrogance, the center of attention that he craves. All fighters can have that attribute about themselves. And so, PGA said Mickey Bay dropped the hammer on Floyd. He sure did. That's why I'm critiquing some of this stuff. But all fighters worth their weight in gold, or whatever, however that saying goes, they got to be a little conceited. You got to be. You got to definitely be arrogant. And you got to be wanting to be the center of attention. That's the only way your star gonna rise. You know what I'm saying? So that could be all fighters, to include Floyd. But the difference between most of them and Floyd is Floyd comes off like a narcissist. Now, if Floyd watching is like, who is this chick? I am your biggest fan. That's who I am. I have almost got into fights defending Floyd. Floyd was integral in my Navy career, because that was sometimes the only excitement we got, especially traveling on these ships, doing country work, doing work for our country, for the USA. So I personally think he's the best ever. But that could be a lot to do with the fact that I'm living in this era. It's what I'm seeing with my own eyes. Outside of that, he is the best ever to me. He talked about how Floyd cousin, and he named him by the name of Dewan, and Leonard Ellerby, robbed him pretty much, like dogged him out. Like you took money off of what he could potentially get. And you know what that remind me of? I always tell people, a little story break, I always tell people, when you go buy a car, this is one of my biggest advice. I always say, look, go get your own financing. Don't go in the car dealership asking them to finance you, because there's a lot of things going to happen. You're going to get lied to. That's for damn sure. Number one. Number two, they're going to ask about 15 to 20 banks that they work with. And all of those hits is a negative hit against your credit score. It can repair in a couple of months, but it's 2 or 3 points here, 2 or 3 points there. And all of that shit add up. You ask 15 people times 3. You do the math. You know what I'm saying? Those how many points can immediately drop off your credit report. And then it'll take a couple of months to get it. It'll come back. But, you don't want them drops like that. So you go get your own finances. Why? Because it's a soft hit when you do it with your own bank. 2, you ask one person. 3, you already know the deal backwards, forward, sideways, upside down, and this, that, and the other. So why do I say that reminds me of Leonard and them taking off things? Because we already have been explained through barbershop conversations how some of this shit works. You know, the network give the promoter a certain amount of money that's in their budget to make a car for whatever particular date. And it could be somewhere like $500 million or it could be $200 million. And that's more than enough to pay everybody good, get the fight on. And either the fight could be pay-per-view if it's warranted or not, you know, but that's what's in the network's budget. But what these promoters do is they'll pay for all the stuff they got to, like the camera crew, whatever the fuck, the location, the venue, which, as we seen with Trio Boxing, it don't take a lot to put a down payment to hold a venue or to even pay for the venue. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna get their money back with the ticket sales and the pay-per-view. But now you got like some access of a couple of $100 million left. You got to pay all the fighters. Then the main event, you want to pay the people $1 million or $2 million. So you know if they getting that, everybody below them ain't getting shit. But you got hundreds of millions of dollars. So it makes me wonder when Mr. Bay says that his cousin and Leonard was stealing money off him, and he actually gave an amount one time and say $25,000. What did he really get that nobody told him? Only his manager know. So they probably really gave him $200,000 and he gave the dude $25,000. How we know? I'm just speculating. I don't know if that's what the number was that they gave his cousin DeJuan, the guy who managed Mickey Bay, but it can sound like something like that. Because if Bob Arum getting money from the networks to put on the car, how can you ever say with a straight face that Terrence Crawford lost you money? You ain't promoting him. You're not busting the grape. You're not running ads and commercials. You're not calling radio stations. You're not doing a whole lot of stuff that could cost you money just by even driving or flying or whatever to these places so you can advertise. You're not doing any of that. And the network gave you hundreds of millions. And you losing money? Okay? Unless you're going to tell me for just to put on the event, it costs $100 million or $200 million, then I guess I really don't get it. But he talked about how his cousin, probably we call it skimming off the top, and Leonard was engaged with that. But he also wanted to make clear that if Leonard was left to his own reconnaissance, he wouldn't be as dogmatic as he turned out to be. Or he basically said Leonard don't have a backbone. If Floyd, you know that thing in Coming to America when he said, bark like a dog. And she was like, arf, arf, arf. He said, a big dog, arf, arf. Now hop on one leg. That's Leonard when it comes to Floyd. And he even made reference when he said, shit, I got more money than Leonard, I bet you. I'm like, damn, Leonard. I'm thinking all that money Floyd made, Leonard, you should be a millionaire 20 times over by now. All that money that Floyd made in his career, he showed you them guaranteed checks, them checks they get right after they get out the ring. Remember he showed that one check of $100 million? You mean to tell me the person that's running your company ain't a millionaire 20 times over? That's weird. He distinguished this the separation between Al and Floyd. Not separation might not have been a good word, but the distinguishing aspect between Floyd and Al Heyman, because Floyd recently, and Black Fight Fan brought this up, a good point. Floyd recently came up out and said, hey, you know, where there's Al, there's me. Where there's me, there's Al. You know, we one and the same kind of thing. He was like, no, sir. No, sir. That is not true. Al and Floyd is two different people. Al is a manager. Floyd have used Al in his career to manage his business or finances or whatever. But if you sign with Al, you're not signed with Floyd. The two paths don't cross like that. They are business partners in other ventures, but if you sign with Al, you sign with Al. Floyd don't run shit. And vice versa, you sign with Floyd, Al don't run shit over there. But I'm just saying. But Floyd made it seem like they one and the same. They are joined at the hips. No, they're not. Then one thing that we all see, and it's speculation, as much as I love Floyd, I can agree with this. Floyd don't like when people outshine him. And I said that's bad, because anybody who's young might not get this, but you get a certain age. Like I could tell you, the first time I stopped feeling old is when my daughter's friends was like, Brianna's mom. I was like, what? I thought my name was T. I'm not T no more. I'm not. I got several names, but I'm not that person no more. And I was like, oh shit. And I know, remembering from being a kid, you looking up at this big human, and you like, oh my God, they old. So I was like, I'm officially old. But in learning that I'm getting older and mature and wiser, I understand that I am no longer 22. When you're 21, 22, 25, you are the creme de la creme. Even if you don't think you are, because you have the hottest commodity that is priceless and money cannot buy, and that is called youth. And when you're young, you are the creme de la creme. Don't let nobody tell you different, because everybody be searching for that shit when it's gone. But in maturity, you supposed to be wise enough to know exit stage left. My time has came. I rose. I saw. I conquered. And now it's time for me to go on and let these young folks have it. We all can say that. We don't need no insight from anybody to tell us that Floyd, he can't get off the stage. He just can't do it. Presidential defy. Floyd was trying to finesse Bud and trick him into signing with him. Yep. Bud, no. And I've even said it as Floyd, you're my favorite fighter. I was like, I don't know how men stay feeling like they're men in his presence. I was saying that years ago, because I've worked with men, be around men, grew up around dudes, and I'm gonna tell you, the one thing y'all do not like is no other man challenging your manhood. Y'all like nobody challenging y'all manhood. And when you around another man that's kind of like making you like beneath them because of the way they carry themselves or the way they act in your presence. No guys to my knowledge like that, but let me give y'all a secret. Y'all want to know? Bitches don't like it neither. We don't like it neither. Presidential Jafar is in the building. Was Poppy King. Al is Floyd, and Floyd is Al bullcrap. Yeah, Floyd lied about that, according to Mickey Bay. They're not a joint at the hip. Bud needs to use this social media and smoke these clowns out. And I'm going to tell you something. I be thinking about Bud here lately, and I'm like, when we talk about Al Haymon spent way too much money, PBC might be having money problems, Floyd is invested in it, and he might be having money problems. Who looking pretty right now? This is why I say I don't even get into money talks, because who looking pretty right now? Bud got his money guaranteed. I didn't know that at the end of the fight. I thought at the end of the fight, you get your check. Do not pass go. Stop right here. Run me my motherfucking money. I thought that was always the case. But apparently it's not. Anytime, like, you hear AB's story, when he talking about Al still owe him money, how the fuck Al still owe you money? How do you do a job and somebody still owe you money? Floyd talk about how Bob Arum still owe him $11 million. But Floyd got so much money, it's like it's a second thought. The hell you say? I need you to unask my $11 million, Mr. Arum. You know, but that's how it be, y'all. That's how it be. He said Bud Crawford needs to promote himself. He doing it, but I can't get into all that back and forth talk and banter. He damned if he do, he damned if he don't. Spencer be damned if he do, he damned if he don't. That whole thing with the Twitter or whatever turned out to be fugazi. Um, Spence did not write that shit. Somebody told Bud answer first, and I don't think his response was terrible. But he was like, "Don't lie, that's not a good look." Whatever. That wasn't a terrible response. Somebody hit Bud to the game like, "Hey, that won't Spence." But it was like, "Oh, okay," and the squash. That's why I don't try to get into that, because if we do, we'll take it to another level it don't need to be. D-Ray is in the building. What's popping, King? Salute, Miss T. Presidential Jafar said Floyd emasculates other men. That's a good word to use. Too much. I couldn't deal with that. A lot of men can't. Yep, facts, Miss T. The narrative was Bud is bad at business for re-signing with Top Rank and not signing with PBC. These fanboys think they know better than Bud. That's one way to say it. Presidential fire. 50-50 or boots. Next mandatory boots for EJ. Hey, that might happen. That might happen, D-Ray. That might happen. That's the danger of saying I didn't want to tune up. Y'all know how I feel, but I told y'all I was going to really stop trying to say he needs to take it easy till at least August. But I'm going to stop saying that. The man said, I have to go by what the man said. He said he don't need to tune up. Let's go. I'm so pressed to have the Bud and EJ fight, but I don't know how that's going to work out. They have a product just like any other product. They have to advertise it in order for it to sell. Pretty much, you got to be your own brand. I think somebody said that on Barbershop Conversations. You know, these boxing shows be dropping nuggets. I mean, I can tell you why I watch them, because I be learning. I'm one of them people who love to learn. If you could pay me to go to school all day, every day, that's what I'll do, for real. I love to learn. But let me get through these nuggets that I caught on that Mickey Bay, so we know, without anybody giving us insights, Floyd likes to outshine everybody. He just can't help himself. And then Mickey talked about sabotaging. Now, let me tell y'all something. Everybody in here probably have experienced some kind of sabotage in their life, whether it was your job, your relationship, your family, whatever the case may be. And I have said before, y'all hear me say things like crippling words. Crippling words can be stifling. It can make you crawl up in the shell and don't do anything at times. You know what I'm saying? D-Ray said, I don't think it will happen. So when we use these words like hate, you hating, you jealous, you envious, those are crippling words. And because people are so afraid to include everybody, myself included, to be called that. You know, when I was younger, I didn't want to be called no gold digger. Like, oh my God, don't say that shit to me. Oh my God, I got to prove them shit's wrong. So now I'm going on a campaign to prove to this nigga I ain't a gold digger, but he already know that. That's the beauty in that game. He already know that. He wouldn't have been with me if I was. But I got to put all this energy into trying to prove to this dude I'm not a gold digger. Meanwhile, I've accomplished the goal that he set out. Don't ask me for shit, bitch. Don't expect nothing from me. Pretty much. Now, don't I look like the fool? You live and you learn. I've been through it. That's why I say everybody in here been through some sabotaging shit. But it took me a minute to catch on, like, oh, you just don't want me to ask you for nothing. You don't want me to demand nothing from you. And then you be sitting there like, fuck, I fell for that shit. Because it's one thing to fall for it once or twice in the same year, that between the ages, like 22 to 24. It's another thing to be falling for that shit for a decade. That's how long sometimes it take girls to get it, because we just be like, we're very optimistic when we're young. That's something that women have that's innate in us. We're very optimistic when we're young. We always look to optimism until we can't take it no more. And then we be like, that's what that song, when a woman fed up, ain't nothing you can do about it. That's what pretty much it's saying. You get the optimism, you get the benefit of the doubt, you get the fuck up so many times, and then we be like, oh, we look at the the glass is half full, and then you can't take it no more. You be like, nigga, this shit was on purpose. You know, D-Ray said them fighting words. Damn sure is. But he was saying that they told him, this was some of the sabotage, don't speak to him. Well, if you don't speak to him, he can't get nothing done. How he supposed to stay in the know and stay relevant if ain't nobody speaking to him? Changing his pay and fights at the last minute. You do to go fight somebody Friday. Today is Thursday. And somebody calling you 1 in the morning when you got to be there first thing in the morning, probably like 8, to handle the business of the fight. And not only did they change your pay, or they could change your fight. And it would be one thing if I was due to get paid $500,000 and you're going to change my pay to $1 million. Hey, I'm going to cut a jig with you. But you're not doing that. You taking me from $1 million. I think he said $1.2 million he was going to get paid. And he was basically hitting his mama with the KRS phrase. Now it's steak with my beans and rice. Y'all remember that song? He was hitting her with that. Like, hey, we moving on up. And then it's like, you're going to take this fight. And it's going to be on another network. And you only getting paid a fraction, not even a fraction of what we had promised you. What? Hold tight, mama. Stay where you at. That shit is disheartening. This is how you break people, y'all. And when people do this to people, you know what you're doing. But if they could turn around and say, he was saying the whole time, I couldn't say nothing, it's Floyd. Because even when Floyd's wrong, he's right. Everybody can see Floyd do wrong, and they would be like, he's right. Donald Trump talked about he could go down a busy street in New York and shoot somebody in cold blood, and they still vote for him. And we laughed and thought the nigga was stupid. But look at how his fans act. Rabid fucking fans. They act like, yeah, you can see that's the truth. Well, I'll submit to you that when Mickey Bay was saying what he was saying, that's how I felt. From what he was saying, Floyd could do no wrong. He could do what Donald Trump said he was going to do, and they will still believe Floyd, because to not believe Floyd and to even just show any signs of rebuttal against Floyd, your whole career could be over with a wink of an eye. You know, and that shit was crazy. And I like the response that CC and Black Fight Fan and 78 said, especially with 78 saying, you know, and that might be cool in the ring, how you deal with stuff and everything. But nobody likes to hang around people like that play with your life. You cannot fuck with people's lives like that. And then sleep like a baby and you act like you ain't got one coming. You destroying like that. You know what that man can't get back? He can forgive them for everything. But you know what you can't forgive people for? You can't forgive people for the time you lost. That's what you more mad at. All that shit he named, he's probably more mad at the time he lost. Because you can't get it back. Once time is done, it's done. You can't be 20-something. You can't be 30-something. Like for me, I feel this way. I can't be 20, 30s, 40s, nothing. I can't do that no more. Them times are gone. So I'm going to be upset, and I have a right to be upset about somebody who wasted my time or took me for granted, especially when I have been honorable to you. This is what I'm hearing when I'm listening to Mickey Bay. He also said, you know, the old proverbial, I'm going to feed you to the wolves type shit, which, newsflash, they was doing that to Floyd early in his career. And Floyd knew it, but he weathered through it. So once you go through something and you don't like it, why would you turn around and do that to other folks? Michael Fuller said, it's hard for us to learn this, but the sooner you learn it, the better. You teach people how to treat you. True. Indeed, King. I don't know if I saluted you. Michael Fuller in the building was Bobby King. D-Ray said, dropping off gems, salute. And you said Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle is gonna learn. Gonna learn. He's too young to see what he's about to run into. But when the dust settles and the novelty wears off and nobody cares, the same people you try to impress and they start having kids and life become more serious, they're gonna be like, get the fuck from around me, you killer. He gonna go through some shit, don't trust me. But sometimes we be like, I know God gonna get you, but I can't wait. I know heaven gonna get you, but I can't wait. Michael Fuller said, Kyle Rittenhouse, yeah. President Jafar said, if you ain't a main Carter in boxing, it's a horrible life. Yeah. Michael Fuller said, we all have an hourglass. That is the sobering reality of it. Yeah. And so he fed him to the wolves by giving him fights on short notice, 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance. You setting people up for the fail. The one game that his cousin played that he was explaining is that old proverbial divide and conquer. And this is another game that I'm speaking from a woman point of view, y'all, sometimes. Pardon me, but this is relevant for all of us. But sometimes, I get on my little soapbox, so bear with me. Divide and conquer is played a lot with women in life, just in life. I would do it. I would give an example that's more common that everybody can say, yeah, yeah, I played the game. I did that to many people. You got 2 girlfriends. You're a guy. You got 2 girlfriends. They become the mother of your children. Or, maybe one your wife and one is your mistress. Or both of them thinking they're your fiance. Whatever the case may be. You know that it's just a matter of time before everybody gonna know everything. And then it comes out, right? And you think it's the end. They didn't caught your ass. They like, what? He fucking you? What? He fucking you? And you like, oh, shit. But y'all will take lemons and make a lemonade, won't you? Y'all could be in that situation straight up and somehow make lemonade for yourself because let's say they were both your baby mamas. You want this baby mama A to hate baby mama B. How do you get baby mama A to hate baby mama B? You tell her unreasonable shit that baby mama B is doing and saying about baby mama A. Baby mama A believes it, but now she didn't. Maybe y'all met up at a wedding or a funeral or something in the family, and baby mama A gave her the eyes. I'm like, bitch, whatever. And baby mama B is like, back at you. Now both of y'all mad at each other, so y'all don't even really want to talk to each other as it is. But when you talk to baby mama B, you're doing the same thing that you said about baby mama A, now you're talking to baby mama B. I know this is kind of crazy tongue tie or lip tie. So baby mama A is being talked about to baby mama B in a bad way, in a negative way. Oh, she did this and she did that. And she said she don't want our son to be hanging with our daughter or whatever. Now they mad at each other. And he right in the middle. He laughing. And on Friday nights, he's at baby mama A house. And Saturday nights, he's at baby mama B house. And none of them the wiser. But they so mad at each other, they don't want to say shit to each other. Then they think in their head, which is logical, I'll just deal with him because he's the one I got a baby with. But in the end of the day, you're doing a disservice to yourself. It takes women a long time to figure that out. If you stop being mad and just say, okay, I hear you talking. Let me go holler at her and get it from the horse's mouth. Miss Lady, can I speak to you? Miss Baby Mama A, this is what so-and-so been telling me. So can you corroborate that in any kind of way? What? He told me. Nah, girl, that won't it. If girls could come together and just have that conversation, then he really be stuck. And you'll be the wiser. And when you know better, you do better. But that's how I felt about the divide and conquer thing that his cousin was playing on him with Floyd. He said him and Floyd had such a great relationship that he just felt like he didn't need to go over there and pretty much hang on his nutsacks like everybody else. But because he was the man that he was, the man of integrity, Floyd Cousin knew that too, that this was a man of integrity. So he played on that. He can go check, so I could tell Floyd this and come back and tell him that. Meanwhile, I'm robbing both of them. That shit was, disheartening to hear. And then when he said, I had to tell him, I came up to them sincerely and said, hey, Floyd, I'm hurting. Or, hey, Leonard, I'm hurting, whatever the case may be. I ain't got no money or whatever. And instead of them saying, oh, man, let's stop playing these games. This shit is serious. They took what they know about him and used it against him. That's why you gotta be careful when you tell people anything about yourself. You gotta sometimes keep your feelings close to your chest. This is a lesson we all gotta learn. I have to learn this because people take what you say and use it against you. And I'm coming to the end, y'all. Hold on, because I know I ain't even get to nothing I was supposed to talk about, but I had to speak on this. And I wanted to say, if Floyd ain't careful, he can lose his money in another way. And if Floyd was very careful to pay attention to the great sportsmen before him, whether it was boxing, football, basketball, how people make millions and then in the span of 10 years go broke. Floyd was careful. He does things that it's a lot of shit you can look at what Floyd do and emulate and be like, I'm gonna do that. So basically he pays for everything straight up. That's a grand idea. That's because they're not gonna make money off you when you pay for shit up front because you ain't paying no interest. How can you pay interest on money you don't owe? Take that little nugget and apply that to your car note, your mortgage, and everything else you got. How can you pay interest on money you don't owe? Meaning, pay the principal or buy it straight up. You will save yourself millions. And that's something Floyd learned and perfected well. And you know that old saying, too much is given, much is, I forgot, expected or something. I don't know. And we got to learn how to, the nugget that I took away with how important is crippling words like hate, jealousy, envy, is when it prevents you from protecting yourself properly. A lot of people won't stand up for themselves. I don't want to look like a hater. I don't want people to think I'm jealous. And then you don't protect yourself because of what it looked like. Fuck what it looked like. When I was growing up, a lot of people used to say, man, I bust that motherfucker to that white meat. Like, that's what they would say, and I'd be like, okay, I wish I could be like that. And I wasn't. I would always go back and be like, oh, did they mean to? I don't want to look like a hater. I don't want, I don't want to come off like I just can't stand the fact that they got, and that was to my detriment. But we still, even me, I say, I'm being honest, we all still live in that, and we can to a certain extent. But when money on the line, hell the fuck no. That's when it gotta go out. When your love is on the line, your kids or your family is on the line, or money is on the line, fuck what it look like. That is the thing that screams out to me mostly about what this man said. Let me see. Michael Fuller said, that's not a real man. He also said, question for you, Miss T. If you are a successful man, do you think it's wrong to be a partner to two women? Yes. Do you think women should be okay with that? No. It's selfish. It's selfishness on your part. Now, if we humans and we supposed to be smarter than everybody, then you can refrain from that. It's about loyalty. Either you have it or you don't. It's about commitment. Either you can do it or you can't. It's that simple to me. Nothing personal. A lot of guys will be like, well, I can't be loyal. I gotta have more women. I can't go without. Okay, if most of y'all go to jail, so am I now supposed to believe? Because we know in this country, a lot of black men go to jail, for false reasons or unfairly and all that. We know that's a problem, right? So if most people go to jail, am I now supposed to believe that when you in jail, you're fucking or you're getting fucked? Because if that's the image I got to put in my head, you know, I don't want you. If that's what it's going to be, I don't want you. Nothing against people who like to do that, but I don't want you. So I just feel like, if we're intelligent beings, this is something you can do. This country is a patriarchal country. A lot of things in most of the world is patriarchal. It's only a few matriarchal societies. And a lot of things is written to y'all favor. It is what it is. I'm not complaining. I'm not going on a campaign and, talking about women's lib and all that stuff. If you want 2 women, then you get the 2 women. But if it's okay with them, I guess, because I don't run nobody else's life. So to each his own. But if you're asking me, is that right? No, it's not right. It's selfishness on your part, and you have no idea what the word loyalty means or commitment, plain and simple. If I have to commit and my commitment means only you, and if I'm being loyal and my loyalty means only you, then you're not going to explain to me when brain is the brain. You can open up a head and look at 2 brains. One could have came out of a woman, one could have came out of a man. That means the brains are the same. You can't tell by just looking at the brain. You can tell if it was an adult or a child, but you can't tell the sex from that. So a lot of things is to you guys' favor. Some things in life is to our favor. Loyalty is a word. It means what it means. Commitment is a word. It means what it means. Either you got it or you don't. Even if the women you with is okay with it, me on the outside looking in, I wouldn't say nothing because to each his own. But then I will make a note of my mental Rolodex. This man don't know nothing about loyalty or commitment. His credibility is shot. That's what I would say when it comes to that. Don't mean I can't do business with you. I can't break bread with you. I can't go to an event with you. I can't socialize with you in a social event. It doesn't mean all that. I know how to compartmentalize, and that's what a lot of us need to learn how to do, is to compartmentalize. With this person, a fun-loving person, but every time you hang with them, you go broke and all this shit, and you be like, damn, I want to hang with them because I have fun, but I ain't got no money. Then don't take that person out the box. When you got, oh shit, I just came up on the lottery, I got money. Now you go to that box and you take that person out. And when you're done playing with them, you put them back in that box. Close it up. Save it for later. If you are going to have 2 women, be honest about it with both of them or let one go. To each his own. Again, I don't agree with it. I'm an American. I wasn't raised that way. Game is on. Chiefs versus Chargers. I'm going to say good night to you, Miss T. Good night to you. Thank you for coming in for the little bit of time you did. All right. So that was my soapbox. I wound up talking about that whole interview. So let me breeze through right quick some of the stuff that I already I wrote up for the day. So Eddie Hearn says he will start negotiation talks with AB today for a fight with Conor Benn. Hearn feels that this is the last great opportunity for AB. And AB has a record of 34-4-1. I don't know why he feel like this is the last great opportunity. We haven't wrote Adrian Broner off, but Adrian Broner has been inactive. And for the most part, he do look like he is retired. But AB, you have to go by what the man said. He said he coming back sometime in March. Now, out of all the people to call out, as I've said previously on my show, why AB? AB has been inactive. AB has not expressed an interest to fight in the weight division that Conor Benn fights in. So why call him out? And Conor Benn, that's not a good look for you, not to boxing fans, to your casuals. That's not a good look because he's an active fighter. He's trying to build his name up and his brand, but he's calling out a fighter who's been sidelined for 3 years. That's not a good look. Just so you know, as boxing turns, that's the drama behind the drama. He also believes that Broner loses. If Broner loses, then this is the end of his career. No, it's not the end of nobody's career. Today said it's the end of their career. So we got to stop doing that too. Like, we could say you should hang it up, and that's about all we could say. I say that about Chris Algieri. Man, you might as well hang that shit up. Don't come back. That was an opinion. But I can't make no declarative statement say, oh, this is the end of his career. AB still puts asses in the seats. He sure do. And for that, that's why they calling him out. Because he, no matter what, he will be a name on Conor's resume. So Conor can seem like he didn't face the big dogs. But dude has said he's not, he didn't say he was one to fight in your division, Conor. So I don't know what the chit chat is about. I think Broner may lose, but he ain't stopping Broner. I think if, Broner has shown that he's slim. He's not fat and overweight, and I'm assuming that he's working out. So if all he got to do is do a camp where he's really fine-tuning his skills and getting his reflexes and all that stuff back up, you never know. Broner problem and one and only problem. He could be up there almost as high as Mayweather to me. But Broner, as far as one of the greats, could have been. His only problem is when he took that L to Maidana. I think it did something to him. And I really think Maidana was cheating. I know it in my gut. I got belting all day. My gut been telling me that Maidana was cheating. Maidana either had no padding in his gloves or he had something in his gloves. I just really believe that. Can't prove it. I just believe it. It's an opinion. But it did something to AB. To the point where AB fights, he don't let his hands go. And you see him let them hands go, and when he's practicing or in camp, he looks amazing. AB, if you coming back, throw caution to the wind and let your hands go. Let them motherfuckers go. And I guarantee you still young. Watch how you make a comeback. I don't think a lot of people can handle him at his best. He just won't let his hands go. And that's the only reason why they be winning over him. Anybody who's won. Broner became overly defensive fighter when he got beat up by Maidana. That fight ruined him. Yeah. Jason is in the building. He said, good knowledge, sister. Keep it up. Thank you, King. So if AB comes back, let your hands go. That's all I can tell AB. In the past, AB never expressed an interest, like I said, in having business with Eddie Hearn either. And that's relevant because he didn't never want to. He had plenty of opportunities to sign with Eddie, The Zone, or Matchroom. AB scarfed at that shit. He didn't want that. He didn't want it for a reason. A lot of people thought that Eddie and Broner and Mayweather kind of had business dealings, but they didn't. Broner was under Al Heyman. This is why when we was talking about Mickey Bay's interview, when he said, hey, when they brought up the fact where Mayweather said, where there's Al, there's me. Where there's me, there's Al. Like we joined at the hips. And Mickey Bay put an end to that shit. He was like, they two different people. You sign with one, the other one can't say shit. You sign with the other one can't say shit. Despite his losses, I respect AB. He don't duck no phase. Exactamundo. That's one thing we can say about AB. He don't duck shit. So I would say if AB takes this fight, it will be out of necessity. We all heard AB going through some shit. He probably needs some money, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. He's young. It's kind of to his favor that he rose quick and fell quick. And went through all that he went through because he's still young. It's like everything this man had been through and did, and a lot of the shit on his own accord he did to himself can usually be summed up in a person's whole life. AB barely in his 30s. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he barely in his 30s. So All them kids, all that responsibility, all that stuff he had to go through. He did it to himself. But that's what happens when you can't tell a young person shit. He live and learn. He's gotten older. He's more mature, I hope. And if he takes this fight, I hope he whip his ass. I hope he whips Conor Ben's ass. I'm just saying. I'm going with the home team. And to be honest, every time AB fight, I root for him. Every fight. He just don't let his hands go. We be screaming over here, jumping up and down like, nigga, if you don't throw, AB, I just want you to know that's how we be acting about you. And it don't matter. He can do this every time. Every time he has a fight, we're going to root for him. It never fails. The effort here is to put a name on Conor's resume. Let's just keep that a buck. That is the only thing going on here. They want to put a name on Conor's resume where he can look relevant. I told y'all he's Eddie's answer to Bud Crawford and Errol Spence here in the States. Is he on that level? Hell to the knees out. He's not. AB wants to fight back at home, and it will sell out, I think. But Eddie wants to bring him to England. He want to make an example out of him. I don't know what AB gonna do, but AB, if you gonna do it, get the money. It's a money grab. Here's the beauty of it, AB. You gonna get all your ducats at the end of the fight. You ain't gotta go talk to him and say, stop sending me allowances and shit. Eddie gonna pay you at the end of the fight. That's one thing I give Eddie. When you work with him, you gonna get paid. Now, they do some scandalous, scrupulous shit or say some scrupulous shit. They lie, whatever. It's like boxing is like politics. Everybody in this game is going to be a liar, whether you wanted to or not. You got to. It comes with the territory, and Eddie is good at it. But like I said, Eddie wants to bring him over there, and he wants to fight in the O2 arena. I hear that holds like 80,000 people. Brona, it might be some money. Make sure the motherfuckers pay you right. But this is why Conor, you guys, from who you trying to call out and then flip-flopping everywhere, because at one it was AB, then it was maybe who did you say? Shit, you were saying a lot of people. Now you're saying Danny Garcia and motherfucking or Mikey Garcia. But you flip-flop, you asking for a lot of people. It's like you started off with the ask of somebody that's not even in your weight class. That said, they're not coming back to that weight class. So you're already fucking up right there. You got Abel Ramos, Josecito Lopez, Rashidi Ellis, Igis Kavalaskas, i.e. Mean Machine, Danny Garcia, David Avanicio, CN. These are all possible future fighters. They are all active and they can fight you. Danny Garcia takes his time, whatever, but he's still an active fighter. We haven't seen Josecito in a minute, but they still an active fighter. Won't you go for those people? Because they legitimately in your wheelhouse. But I don't know what's this fantasy about calling somebody who's not in your wheelhouse. Now, that's enough about Conor Ben. I might come back to him again about something. But we got Brown versus Better BF this weekend. It's at December 17, live on Fight TV and ESPN Plus. Now, my question is, if the fight is on ESPN Plus, do we have to pay for that fight? Because we had to pay for Crawford and Porter. So I'm wondering on ESPN Plus, do we got to pay for that? Or if you got ESPN Plus, you get to see that fight. I'm definitely going to look into it. President Jafar said, remember, AB was the first American fighter Eddie Hearn wanted to sign, but he was loyal to Al. Not we come full circle. Yeah, now we come full circle. Yeah, even though Eddie's adventures in the States didn't prove to be as successful as he wanted to, he had to, I ain't gonna say tuck tail and run back to England. In a sense, you can describe it like that. However, he seemed like he's more successful now that he took his ass back. I'm gonna tell you, I've watched his own fighters. I'm gonna say this. I'm being straight up. Them undercards be good as a motherfucker. I don't know none of these people, but they be good. Don't sleep on that shit, because It's not like I'm watching them fights and bored as hell. I mean, it was good fights. I wish they were notable names so I could be like, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. You know, when they put on a main event or a card, the zone got to learn how to put notable names throughout the card. That's what I think. That's might be a good little tip. And Eddie, I want to get paid for my little tip that I just gave you. You got to learn how to put some notable names up and down the card. So if you're going to only show 4 fights, and I've seen some where you show more than 4 fights, stick to motherfucking 4 fights. Stop having all this low moments in between the fights. So that's 2. Stick to 4 people on the card. No lull moments in between going to the next fight. Let that shit work like that. And put notable people on your cards. If one fight is not that notable, it's just they're good enough to get in the realm of being on the card. That should be the opening bout. Maybe we don't know them. Like Showbox got Showbox, and that means you fighting during the daytime. Then you got when you elevate yourself to the nighttime Showtime boxing, which we all just saw. What's his name? Debut of that, and that was Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee been fighting on Showtime Showbox for a minute. We all got to see him at night because he graduated. Brandon Lee is something serious. So all these 135s thinking about running up to 140, you better think again. You better make sure you're ready because you're going to have to see that dude. Hope you ready. Hope you hungry. So, I like when y'all be saying that. So, when y'all put on the fight card, the zone, those 3 things y'all going to have to take into account. Fix them shits, and you might have a little nugget on your hand. You might get people trying to, subscribe to your station. That's why Americans don't really, be pressed about that. We like to see people we know. We don't like all this pause in between fights. Run the next one. It looks unprofessional, is what it looked like. Presidential Jafar said Montana Love, Devin, Ammo Williams, Baumgartner, Jessica McCaskill. Were they on the DAZN card? He said Eddie low-key building a nice young stable of people sleeping on DAZN. Yeah, they are. I agree with that. And AB was one of the first people to start the PBC. He was the biggest coming attraction. Now who is the coming attraction with PBC? Andrew Charles is in the building. He said, salute, Miss T. Salute to you too, King. So, DAZN, I need some ducats for that insight of them, that nugget. I ain't the first person that probably told you, but I probably be the first person that told you 1, 2, 3. Get some notable people on your cards up and down. If you're going to have one person on the card that's not notable, make it the opening bout. Stop having these low moments in your fights. It was, damn, I forgot that quick with my other third one. Look, I'm having a brain fart. God damn. Y'all remind me. I said 3. It was 3 of them. No low moments, notable people. Because all they ever have is the main event. Them the only 2 people you be tuning into. Low moments, notable people, and something else. And low moments meaning all the time they take to go to the next fight. But yeah, Brown feels that he will give the upset. Now, I'm not going to go in depth about this because I told you I try to stay in my lane and mind my business. But it's worth saying because I am a woman. Brown has a problem with laying hands on women and not in a nice way. He don't lay the gentle hands. He lay the rough hands. I don't know too much about it, but I heard it's public knowledge. And for that, I really can't get too into him. The luster is gone before it can even start. I ain't going to bash him because I don't know the story. But if that's a thing that he has, a habit, I can promise you, you will be destroyed before you can start. As simple as that. I feel about that like I feel about cheating. When these fighters get in the ring, they get in with the understanding that death could be on the table. That's what type of sport this is. Death or being maimed or seriously hurt, where you're like a vegetable for the rest of your life. That is the risk that every fighter who steps in the ring is taking. And that's why I give the utmost respect, or try to, for all fighters. When you cheat, you have a disregard for human life to me at that point. Let me correlate that to what I just said about Marcus Brown. When you, a trained fighter who has been an Olympian, so we know you know how to really fight. You know how to throw them hands quickly, and you know how to score points and hit people where you need to. We know you know how to be strategic with that shit. Now, coupled with the fact that you are a professional fighter, you knocking out grown ass men. When you put your hands on a woman, to me, especially with your background, because I don't like women beaters at all. In fact, I hate them so much. Like, I enjoyed movies like The Burning Bed and shit like that. Y'all can't be mad at me. That woman was getting her ass whooped. She should have burned his ass. I know some people be like, what? Well, that movie, Extremities, both Farrah Fawcett played in both of them. Shit, if you fucking with people, what you think gonna happen? You don't have no freedom reign to just go massa on somebody. But Marcus, if you land in the hands in the rough way, and that's as nice as I can say it, then you have a disregard for human life, because a woman can't contend with that. You could be a casual at boxing, like not even a novice, and you could kill a woman laying them hands that way. But you are the professional you are, and you choose to do that. You have no regard for human life. And that's how I see you. You probably are a father, and I don't know if you have daughters, but the woman you lay hands on, they are somebody's mother, daughter, cousin. They're no different than your daughter. And if you believe that you should lay hands on her, then you believe that somebody should lay hands on your daughter. That's how I always see it. I don't see no daylight. But my problem with him is that he's a boxer and he's doing it. Because we all know y'all have to register your hands. I know that. Y'all know that. Boxers, if for the casuals that's listening, boxers have to register their hands as weapons. So when they can't have little incidents of oops and all that stuff fighting other men. You can't have these community incidents where you got to fighting with a dude at the grocery store or whatever. You're going to go to jail as if you pulled the gun on the dude. And it could have been you just threw a punch. That's how serious your hands are. And so when you do that to somebody who can't compete with you at all, I take it as you have no regard for human life. And so I can't really get that happy about you, but I will say, trying to compartmentalize that because I don't know much about the story. I pray in God that you get help and you don't continue down that path. I think that you are trying to change. I pray it works. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. But you have a fight on December 17th, live on Fight TV and ESPN Plus. This is a good fight. Better BF is a good fight. He don't have the best footwork, but he is a good fighter. Canelo was reckless eyeballing him, and I hope that if he beats Brown, then he beats the shit out of Canelo. I don't have a dog in this race. It doesn't matter which one of them win. Normally I'll be like, I'm going for Brown, but I cannot, because I know that part of his life is true. So I ain't got the warm and fuzzy yet, but maybe you could change my mind. There is hope. I hope I'm wrong, but it looks like I'm moving on. I hope I'm wrong, but it looks like the powers that be are trying to set up the fight with Kambosos and Loma. It's only but the words. Now, Mickey Bay kind of spoke to this like that might have been all publicity because, how, and somebody else was talking about that. I can't remember what I was watching. It said Devin was at the basketball game or something, and he got to get better or sweeter with his social media game. And so what he should have been doing is hashtagging his name, being at the basketball game, and hashtagging some of the basketball stars that was playing that night. Well, Camboso seemed to do that. He did that for every fight. His fight, Tank's fight, Devin's fight, so or whatever order they came in, and then the Loma fight. So every time you talk about either one of those guys, you got to bring up Camboso. So he did right by himself. If this was how Mickey Bay is explaining, I understand. But before that, I'm thinking they really want this fight with Loma Chico. They want him to be what they had always said he was before he could do it. They actually put the cart before the horse with him. And so now it's like they gave him the Omni Domni, but now he got to prove that he deserved the Omni Domni. You know what I'm saying? No, that's why in a fan like me, they made it difficult for me to even be a Loma fan because they Omni Domni his ass before he should have been Omni Domni. Um, it's all because they are saying that Loma is more of a draw, and they call him, the money aspect of it. And sometimes, fuck the money. Like the goal again should be champion unification, and then undisputed. And if you're not going for that, what are you doing? Why do we need to give you our money if that's not what you're going? I wouldn't be a football fan if that my team that I so-called like have no designs or desires to become Super Bowl champs. And don't they got they split it up in East and West. You got the East champs and the Western champs. I forgot what they call it. Yeah, if you don't even desire to do that, I think all teams all across the country do that. Like basketball has the Eastern championships and the Western before they have the overall. You don't have a desire to make the playoffs. Why am I following you? I'm just saying. So Camboso's Devin is your logical next step. Who cares if they can go to Australia? Everybody gonna come out for you. Everybody gonna come out. People gonna fly down there. You got people in the States that's saying, "Hey, let me go on and get my passport because it's coming." You gonna make some money, but that's the logical step. Now, if you become undisputed by beating Devin Haney, then look how much sweeter that would be, and how much more money you would make with Loma. And Loma got to come see you. Whoever, Loma or Tank, they got to come see you. But if you're saying Devin is the weakest link, then my boy, you should go for Devin because logically it makes sense on everything across the board. He the weakest link. That means the easy win, right? Take the easy win. But he has the other piece to the puzzle. That's why it logically makes sense to go on and choose Devin. So we're going to see what you do. They are judging all of this too by the performances because all the top lightweights have recently in the past month chopped it up in the ring with an opponent. Finally, they had some fights and a lot of stuff we learned about them. I call it being exposed because, what I can say about, I went through this already. What I can say about Tank is that if Tank fights somebody who don't, care about his power, and that person has power too, and they can stand the test of time, it's going to be a very competitive, interesting fight than Tank just rolling through everybody. That's the narrative. Tank can roll through everybody. We all say that Tank opponent's been kind of cherry picked, probably against his wishes. But after that Mickey Bay interview, we can see why. I saw one. I saw one ranking. A writer wrote to show. Hold on, I'm gonna show this. Let me see if I still have this up. Damn, I don't. The ranking that they had was atrocious, man. Let me see if I got it. I do. I'm going to see if y'all can see this. Uh-oh. I'm going to go ahead and... hold on. Shit. Hold on. Y'all, hold on. I'm just trying to save this image. I want y'all to see all my personal shit. My shiznix. Okay. Ooh. Look, I'm doing this off the cuff. Hold on. How did I do this before? Okay, I'm right here. And then I go in here. And I go down to... Y'all, one second. Okay. I think I did it. Y'all gonna see in a minute. This is the rank. Let me turn this bullshit out. Let me see. Child, this is the rank. The rank. This was in the article that I read today. So, because first I looked at it, I said, you got to be shitting me. It's got to be old as hell. Y'all know a couple of videos ago, I ranked the 135, and I told why. This is the rank. Vasily Lomachenko, really? Tank Davis. Michael Rivera, really? This dude? Ryan Garcia, really? Isaac Cruz, number 5? He just had a hot ticket fight. I mean, I don't mind him being in ranking because he's in my ranking. But Ryan, you ain't fought nobody. Nobody. But you're ranked number 3. Jorge Linares that Devin beat. Rolando Romero, a person who got beat and was gifted a win. And see, Rolly, until you fight somebody notable, this is all we ever going to think of. Devin Haney, who is a legitimate champion. Everybody above him is not a champ. He is. Gervonta has a regular belt. But if you got Gervonta up there, then you damn sure got to have Devin up there. Vasily, you lost. You're the man sitting next to the man, sitting next to the goddamn man that called his Piccolo player a motherfucker. You lost. Then you got Richard Coleman, who just lost to Vasily. And then the guy with all the belts is number 10. I hope that was just an error or somebody just, I don't know. I don't know why the ranking, I want to say it was old, but I don't think it was old. I don't know. But I found that weird. I read that today. I was like, huh? Okay, I'm going back to Conor Benn. Now, Conor Benn, like I said he won Danny Garcia or Mikey Garcia. That's his plan B. That's what I meant to tell y'all. He should not be calling for AB rather than Danny. Yeah, if he was going to call for somebody, call for Danny. Why are you calling AB? And Eddie should learn his lesson with Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia just got paid handsomely and got his ass whooped by somebody none of us know. And I ain't going to call him a nobody. I just said we don't know him. He's from another country, so we don't know him, and he fight only in this country. So I'm just saying, Ryan Garcia is claiming, I don't even know why I'm reporting this. He's claiming he wants Isaac Cruz. Why, I don't know. He ain't fought Tank yet. I mean, when he on mic talking all that shit, really? He want Isaac Cruz because a lot of people think that Isaac is an easy win because he's not a real boxer. And that may be true to somebody who's a real boxer. Boxing always wins. To me, when you have a brawler and you have, sorry, y'all. You have a brawler and you have a big puncher, the boxer, in my opinion, would always win. And maybe that's what Ryan is looking for, an easy win. But if you can walk through Isaac Cruz and take his punches, I think he's no joke. But the final conclusion, this is for all my casual fans. This is why when y'all wonder why we say shit about Ryan Garcia, and call him a whole coward or a bitch. Let me tell y'all. I just read y'all yet again him chiming in on somebody he want to fight. He made a whole complete ass of himself on Mike Tyson's show, talking about what he gonna do to Tank, standing all up and acting like he really wanted with Lean. But then the conclusion is always going to be there will be no fights. That's what you can count on with a Ryan Garcia. But the more you look into him, because I said his name, and you go to his page in social media, you look him up and you subscribe, guess what? Cha-ching. Cha-ching. That's how he makes his money, y'all. So if and ever he has a fight and his promotional company, which is Golden Boy, ever try to slide one past y'all, because he's a nice looking young man. He can box and he is fast, and speed kills in boxing. But he's scared, y'all. He's scared and he's a liar. So if and ever they try to slide a fast one past you and say, we got to fight for pay-per-view, don't fall for it. Watch his shit for the free if you want to watch it. Rolly Romero, in other news, is talking mess about Danny. This happened a couple of days ago. Why? I don't know. Maybe he's butthurt that his homeboy lost his fight. But, they always talked about Devin and Tank and all that. What I don't like is the personal jabs that, Rolly and them be coming at other fighters with. Like, you looking at a man too hard when you talking about his looks. Like, why are you reckless eyeballing like that? Number one, I mean, should we know something, Rolly? Do you want the chocolate brownie? I don't know. Let us know. I know Dev ain't down with it. He don't want that shit. Calling him the weakest link at 135. Now, that's just talking shit. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Rolly's record is 14-0 and 12 KOs. Remember, I told you, you can YouTube this shit. The dude name was Jackson Marias or something. I'd probably be saying his name wrong. The way I'm saying it, you couldn't even spell it. But Jackson something. Rolly Romero lost that fight. Go back and watch it. He lost. You can watch that for free. And then come back and tell us what is he talking about. Devin has 27-0 and 15 knockouts. Everybody gets on Devin because he got hurt in the fight and where he got caught on the chin. That can happen to any of us, y'all. I'm just letting you know. It can happen to any of us. He hasn't been fighting long enough and had those incidents happen long enough for us to call him Chinny. I gave examples of who we could call Chinny. And just so you know, for the casuals, that's one time getting hurt is not enough to call somebody Chinny. Devin has a record of 27-0 and 15 KOs, like I said. Rolly is predicting his downfall, and that's, I don't know. And I don't like to say because he hating. I just talked about that. I don't know. I don't know why he don't like this man, but he don't. It could be something as simple as hating and jealousy. It could be. Because you go out your way to do all this talking, but you didn't want to fight. Y'all remember not that long ago, Devin and them was like, come on, fine, let's do the fight. We can do it now. And that's when he was retiring and I'm getting out of boxing. Y'all remember that? That happened not that long ago. That happened in the last 6 months or something like that. I know it was this year. He's stating he lacked the power. There's a lot of boxers out there that didn't ever have a lot of power. That don't mean that they didn't go on to be great. You never know what could stop you from having power. You might just not have God-given power, but you got heart. Sometimes just have a heart, and you can't buy heart, and you can't train heart. That's something you either got or you don't. And heart can win you fights. I'm just saying heart alone. Look at Paulie Malignaggi. He wasn't a power puncher, but he was a 2-division world champion. Paulie was consistent. He knows his boxing. He knew what to do. How did he do it? And he fought big people. He fought some nice names. So the lack of power thing is not going to fly. Talking about him personally, like how he looks, he can't help it. It was his genetics. Calling him ugly, saying he got a chin, and he said Devin is aggressive for his own good. I don't know. Some of that stuff could be considered constructive criticism. Some of that stuff is personal jabs. I don't really get into the personal jabs. Let me be the first to say, if nobody has said it, Devin Haney, you're a handsome man. You're a handsome young man. And, I don't know. Rolly, you can feel differently. But as a woman, I'm telling you, he's a handsome young man. Yes, he is. Um, he's a little boy to me, considering our age difference. But to call this man ugly, I'm not following that. I'm not getting that because I see a handsome young man. You don't like his attributes? Well, then you get mad at your black mama. Because he got black people attributes. You got black people attributes. Talking about Rolly Romero. You got black people lips. Your lips big just like ours. You know what I'm saying? And so I always found it weird when a man concentrates on another man's looks too much. But anyway, that's all I had today. I'm not giving no credence into none of that stuff that Rolly is talking about. To all my casuals that watching, thank you. To all the people that watch on Facebook, thank you. Come into the show if you want to. Y'all can chat just like these lovely people over here did. Y'all can beam in. You could call in. The number's at the bottom. Y'all can send a cash app. Where is that? That's my cash app. All proceeds go back into the channel. I'll be buying things like the green screen. Got to get another one for this thing because the black curtain is me. I'm gonna say Jimmy rigging, but you know what I was about to say. Rigging. But that was me doing that. It's just the way my desk is set up. I can't change the dynamics of my desk. This desk I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. I got a U-shaped desk with a hutch, and I'm gonna ride it forever. It ain't broke. I ain't trying to fix it. That's the in me. Anywho, when you know better, you do better. As I always say. Thank y'all for watching, and be sure to come in tomorrow where we have Grown Woman Talk. I do talk about the fights a little bit. Probably, like 30 minutes before the Grown Women Talk. As y'all saw last week, we scaled back down the time. And I'm, trying to do that here with my show. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. When you know better, you do better. Peace.